That's pretty good.
Very nice. Is that cultural appropriation?
No. How dare you ruin my intro, though?
That's true. Why did you turn it down so fast?
I didn't. It's
Oh,
done.
it just does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the new quickie.
New. Hi, Chris.
What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm doing good.
You look good.
Thank you.
We almost match.
Actually, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we do. It's the same damn color.
We could play tummy sticks right now. But it
No,
would be cute.
shut your mouth.
What?
Shut your mouth.
All right.
Tummy sticks. I like it.
Gross.
You know.
No, stop.
Okay. Come on.
Your mom listens
Well,
to
we
this.
did kind of on Saturday. but I don't think I came out well on that one. I think I lost that tummy stick
Didn't know about
match.
your guys'.
Yeah, due to armbar. I almost got my little arm out.
Almost
a couple
got out of there.
Yeah,
I think I know. I think Bill told me about that actually.
yeah, that's good.
Oh, because I've been practicing this one arm bar, which was the one that when I was like really high, I was side control, and then I trapped your arms kind of trapped like a shock or straight.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
And then it's like I'm almost sprawled on your.
Yep.
And like kind of, it's almost awkward because my shin is across your belly, and then my other knee's kind of across your face and neck.
Yeah.
And then I rotate around.
That was good.
We've been working on that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Kind of unassuming a little bit. Like you think it's just going to be the shotgun or the straight arm, but then you like rotate all the way.
Well, I was trying to set up a Turkish get up on you too.
A couple times.
Yeah.
There was one really close, or did it happen?
Yeah, I
get
put
it?
you over, but you snatched an arm. You didn't finish the arm bar, but
that's right.
you snatched the arm as I get up.
Because you did it one time, and I think we just like neutralized. And then
Yeah.
the second time, I knew you were looking. It was top of mind.
Yeah.
So then I tried hopping, like timing it. That did not work.
Yeah, it was funny though.
Looked cool, I'm sure, but
It did look cool.
yeah, did not.
No, it was always a good role. It's good to what I like, and this is a good commentary for the podcast anyway. Andrew always says this: look around for the toughest roles that you can find in the gym.
Yeah,
and because it could vary day to day too, depending on how people feeling. If you got someone at their 7th or 8th round or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's cool. I had a bunch of really tough roles, including yours was the last one, which was really good to hit while I was just trying to get that extra little grit out at the end of the because when you get tired, you get sloppy, like I do.
Right.
I get sloppy, and it was really good to get to really pay attention to that, because rolling with you or any of our other black belts, a little mistake, you're kind of done.
Yeah.
You're going to capitalize.
Yeah, because my
on it.
style isn't as grindy but I'll like jump on stuff.
Well, I know. Well, I went right from Andrew Jong
Totally opposite.
to totally opposite.
Yeah,
right, that's my
yeah.
point to you.
Yeah.
And he has a very smushy style and of leg locking,
Slow, methodical.
So so very similar to my own game. But then it's good. So my point is, find people that get you right. That is almost like your kryptonite a little bit, and really go at, because the more you do it, even though it can be demoralizing sometimes. The sharper you're going to get on that. So I think it's a good thing to seek out.
I promise we did not plan this because you didn't know what I was going to bring up.
No.
But that kind of leads in to what I want to talk about. Yes.
How freaking crazy is that?
Let's make out.
I like it.
Okay. So I've been thinking about this a bit lately. Do you ever have like there's those stereotypical thing, I stole this, I don't remember from who. You got to have 3 training partners, ones that you beat up, ones that you go toe to toe with, it's back and forth, sometimes you get them, sometimes they get you, and then ones that beat the crap out of you,
like just murder you,
like they're the guy that they just beat you.
yeah.
So you want to have all 3 of those. Sometimes you can't, depending on your gym situation, but you want to have that. Now, that last one, do you ever have it where the person that beats you up, do you ever have it where you just don't want to do that round anymore? Not anymore as in like forever, but where you have a season or you're just like, you know what? I don't want to.
I think there's a gut level reaction to that, especially right afterwards in the aftermath.
Well, and I'm saying before. So this would be
before.
like you haven't rolled with them yet, but you're like, you think about it and you're like, I don't feel like rolling with them because I'm going to get my ass kicked.
I usually know what I'm doing when I'm going into. I'm like, I need to get my ass kicked. But there are times like when I'm like, for instance, at the end of the, when I'm already tired, at least for guys like that, I at least want to be, I'm speaking for myself.
Sure.
When I get to like the 6th or 7th roll and open mat, where I've been going pretty hard that day, sometimes that person may not be on the top of my list.
Sure.
Where I at least want to feel like I'm giving them a good look for what I can do.
Because they already beat you when you're fresh.
That's what I'm saying.
So when you're tired,
well, right.
You're
And so I usually, I'm like, then I feel like I'm not really giving them anything.
You're
I'm like flopping or
deflated beanbag.
Right. And then, I feel like that sometimes too. But then sometimes that's the time to, like, all right, especially when they come up and ask you, hey man, you want to, and you're like, yeah, and you're like, yeah, I need to do that. So, but of course I think it's natural, when you just get your butt handed to you. There's a specific person that consistently does that to me where I feel like
it's like that, right? But there's at the gym, I mean, the lower belt level you are, the bigger that pool is.
Yeah.
But as you go up,
it's even more important as you go up in belts, I think, because you can get, I know Andrew mentioned this to me a couple months ago, he was like, because, you get to a point where your jiu-jitsu gets efficient, right? And you need those rounds even more sometimes to be like where you're like, oh shit, forced to scramble, really trying to do, survive, basically going back into white belt mode, just to maybe the win for you at that point is just not to get submitted and protect yourself, right? Which is super valuable too, right? But no, I don't think, I just think it's there is that mental thing where you're like, oh, okay, I know what this is going to be type of thing. But, so yeah, I mean, I think but I try to like collect myself and like reframe it, how I'm feeling
don't
there.
let the inner bitch in, as some would say.
I try not to, because then I try to reframe. I'm like, all right, I'm tired. I'm just going to go and do the best I can right now. And this is because you can never plan for adversity anyway. Right. And so I think in that moment, I have that gut level reaction like, shit, and then I'm like, okay, let me reframe this a little bit and be like, okay, no, this is going to be good because this is what I want out of it at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need someone that's going to be the hammer. And we have, more than a couple, especially our black belts too, and some brown belts, and especially I'm just saying that I know I'm going to get decimated. There's a couple of them for sure.
So I've been dealing with the inner bitch, if you will, a lot, because there's a few peeps that I feel like I don't get a positive move on. Like I don't even.
Right.
I'm fighting for my life the whole time. I turn into R. Kelly.
Right.
If people know that meme.
Yeah.
Fighting for my life over here. And it's like that every round.
Yeah.
I don't have a round where I'm like, I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Or if I do, it's like just a fart in the wind. Like I had a moment.
Right.
And that is not every round. That's every roll the dice. I don't know. So I will literally just not, like, I'm just like, what? I feel defeated before I even do the round. And
because you look over at that person and they're dead shark eyes
Yeah.
who are looking at you.
I'll just go with Bill. And I'm like, okay.
All right. Well, this is going to suck.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if I've rolled my first round or my 7th or 10th.
I know.
I just get my asshole kicked in.
I have a question. And I think I know what you guys are going to say, but you know how you're saying that there should always be that person, though, that's like kind of kicking your butt?
Mm-hmm.
Should that person, if they know they're that person to you, do you think there's any benefit to them letting up just a little bit?
Here's the thing. I think they do.
Yeah.
The one I'm talking about in particular.
Oh,
Okay, enough to give you a positive movement, like just to kind of feed you a little bit of breadcrumb. You know what I'm saying?
and the person that
To help you
does
to
it
keep
to me
being motivated.
routinely does that and
Okay.
still has that outcome. I know they do, and I still feel like that, and that's okay. But yeah, no, for sure, I know your point. But in this specific situation, I know this person is not putting their A game on me and is still doing that.
Yeah, and same with me. Like
Yeah.
I know there's at least I feel like because I have multiple that just beat the hell out of me.
Oh, I do too. I'm
Yeah.
just there's
One in particular in your
one in
mind.
particular. Yeah, I do
And
too.
I think they do let up at times to
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's not in their mind of like I'm gonna let him breathe a little bit here, make him feel good about himself. Now I think that does happen. Like I will do that with lower belts.
Yeah. Well,
For
and that's
sure.
why I was thinking of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think that's a little less common at
Black belt.
the higher brown and black. I think is that's a little less common. Now, not that it like because maybe throw in age. There's a piece there, right?
Yes.
You get a 24-year-old black belt or brown belt, and you have a 50+ black belt, let's say, or also brown belt.
Why do I feel like you're talking about?
Well, fortunately, I don't think we have any brown belts or black belts that young, so that's good. Besides Sabrina,
She's almost.
she's in her 20s, all right.
Yeah, but she's gonna be 30 actually.
She's
It's-
brimming.
It's not.
Isn't that a HIPAA violation?
Yeah. No, she just said she said I'm gonna be masters here next. Yeah, so she said that out loud.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway.
So you get some dynamics like that where it's, that really kind of changes the dynamic of it's not just a brown belt against a brown belt. Like
No.
those age gaps can really make a difference. But to answer your question, I think that does happen, but I don't, it happens a little bit less, or maybe the severity of it happens less. So as in like with like a blue belt or something, you might really just like let them out of a passing scenario where you're smushing them. You're like, hey, let me let the chest pressure up a little bit. They get their knee shield back in. Oh, now they're regarded. Oh, you did a good job.
Totally. Right. Totally.
Compared to at the black belt level, it's like you're giving a smaller opening, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
So I've been dealing with this for a bit, and I think I was having a sulking moment on the wall once, and
You were.
somewhat recently, and you talked to me about a little bit.
But I understand.
Yeah,
It's not I understand right on when you're just coming off a roll and you're sitting against the wall and you just got your butt handed to you, or your perception is you got your butt handed to you, whether it happened or not. That way. I mean, I think.
what do you do about that? Because it like messes with me like quite a bit. Because there's a couple people like I feel like I would think with how much I train, I would at least close the gap a little bit.
Yeah.
Not saying be as good. Not saying that. Just close the gap a little bit.
But they're evolving too.
Of course.
But you will.
But I train more than
I know. But
most. So I feel and I study and I do all these things. And that gap does not get closer.
But then the only way to close that gap is to study that person's game specifically. And if you had an intention of, I want to close that gap with that specific person, that's going to be very different than the other person that may be doing the same thing for different reasons, right?
yeah.
But
Which is what I brought up to Bill too. I was saying maybe it's a game, their game is kind of a
Styles.
kryptonite to your style.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I have
That's real.
it's
for sure.
very real. That jiu-jitsu
Math.
math thing doesn't add up. Like this person, you could do well against, you know what I mean? You could do decent against a person.
This is what we talked about when I was sulking on the wall. I was like, I feel like I see other people do either submit these guys or like have like a lot of positive moments.
Yep.
And then those are people maybe I do all right with.
That's my point.
But then I don't do anything good.
No. Well, no, but that, well, right. And because, we have, like for instance, we have a couple purple belts that play a very similar game to mine. And they do really well against other purple belts and even brown belts playing that game until they play that game on me. And that's my game. And I know how to shut it down. That might be, but that doesn't mean, that's that whole thing I'm talking about. Right. It's just the specifics, right? And if you would have to like, okay, I'm gonna play potentially play another game with this person, or, but man, I think for me, because I feel that I have that gut level reaction, then I take a step back. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna right before then I slap hands. I'm like, this is my intention. This is what I'm gonna.
Sometimes
do.
I think about not even going to class because I'm like. I literally am like, gosh, do I feel like getting my asshole kicked in the dirt again?
But then you'll never close that gap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the more you roll with that person that is, a kryptonite to you, because you're going to have those stylistic matchups, and the less, then it's going to get in your head less. You just accept, okay, this is where it's at. I'm going to get this. This is my goal for this role, and keep your goal, the bar very low for yourself. As far as I want to just do this, he always gets me in this thing. I really want to stop that. Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, and you're still getting something out of it. Yeah.
I know you still get stuff out of you can get stuff out of getting like ragdolled. Well, there is things you can take from that and improve defense and
I think
all that.
I think the big thing that gets in the head is because we all were white belts and we spent however many years just getting smushed, and then you're like, okay,
I shouldn't be doing this anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, oh gosh, but you really should, and I think it's good for all of us to have that happen. But it's tough, man. Well, because think about the advice you give to other folks. Yeah. And most of us aren't good at taking our own advice to ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I tell.
Literally, that's my struggle for the last year and a half is I've been having the inner bitch of avoiding certain roles and it's not because I don't want to do the roles in the sense of roll with certain people or anything like that. It's just when I literally told Bill this yesterday. It's you get to a certain point. I'm like, oh, I'm a high level purple belt. I shouldn't be getting crushed so badly anymore. Even though it's upper belt still doing it to me, but I'm like, and you just spent 4 years going through that with white belt, blue belt. You're and you get a taste of how it feels to be on top, to
give the smushing.
Yeah, to do the smushing. So when you're getting stuck back in that position, you're like, I'm so tired of it.
Yeah, but then if you reframe that as this is probably really good for my jiu-jitsu though.
Yeah, and that's been the struggle for me. It's just reframing it mentally because it's been in my brain so deep. It's been hard to get out of that mindset.
Well, here, perfect example. I'm gonna call out one of our friends. You probably know one of our black belts, who I seek out roles with him because he was just foot locking me in various colors at will, right? Because I had some bad habits. And I'm not saying he still doesn't catch me because he does, but it's a lot less. To me, that's a huge improvement for me. It's put me on defense and make me think about some bad habits I've had. And you'll have those people that will capitalize on a bad habit you may happen to have, and someone else may not have that. And so you feel like you're getting the, so which
I do have that, with one of the guys that out of the the bunch that beat the crap out of me is he's very good at a Bravo choke. And my Bravo defense is pretty good now.
That's my point.
But so I do see like there is a positive that has come out of getting Bravo choked 400 times.
That same person was loop choking me because I was
so you're just leading with your head.
leading with my head, with my smush passing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, crap. And every time I did it, I got choked.
Right.
And guess what? That is helpful.
Your discipline now is better.
That is helpful. Super helpful. Matter of fact, I would argue it's probably even more helpful than you getting the better of a match.
Is it weird that I would rather... I'm not always thinking this, but at least in the moment right now.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like I would rather get tapped 6 times than just... I feel like he's riding me around like a pony. Like he's a little midgie. LP, my bad. And I am a show pony. A burro.
You're a show pony.
A show pony. And it's just we're at the circus. And he tells me what to do. I do a little neigh.
You tap your foot a little bit.
Tap my foot. And that's it. Like, what do you want? I'll do it. I'll do your laundry for a year.
Yeah. And then, so that's another problem to
I
solve.
almost feel like I'd rather get sub 6 times.
Yeah, but it's even better because you hate this so much. So that's another problem to solve now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you control that type of, how do you move the sparring into your...
Could I just use the excuse he's bigger than me?
No.
I was relying on that one.
No.
That's what I tell myself in the shower when I cry. No. He's bigger than me. He's younger than me.
I've seen him do it to bigger people.
I know.
Yeah. So, but this is so valuable. It's so valuable for to have the depth that our academy has. I mean, how many black belts were on the mat on Saturday?
12.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of 60 people. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you think about, you go right down that list and you're like, oh, everyone will offer you something different, right?
Yeah,
and
except for Boots.
No, he's great.
He's a light roll.
Oh my God, no, he's not.
I mean, I'm not saying he's like a light roll, like he's a lightweight. I'm saying like he's like not very strong. Actually, I think he is a lightweight.
He is, dude.
Well, at one point, and now he's fat as shit.
Oh my
God. He's a middleweight now.
No, he's not. He's not even close. You leave him alone. I feel like I have to defend him. He's a great role.
I do think
he's highly technical.
No, he's a very fun role. I love.
Yeah, he's up.
I think Chris's advice though about beating the game is good. Like I think instead of going in and thinking, about how you're going to get destroyed, it's like just go and be like, okay, as I'm going through this, I'm just going to focus on like what he's doing, like analyze his game while you're in it. So you have something to focus on, you know, and then start pulling it
He just
apart.
lurks over me like a Dementa. Like I'm an Azkaban.
And just sucking your life force out of you. Yeah, I feel the same way. But, it's okay. It's okay though. I think someone like you that has a very high level of technical skill, has done very well in competition and all that. Sometimes then all of a sudden where you're the nail, it's like, damn. Yeah, certainly can, dude. Certainly can. And but I think it's good for you.
Anybody else deal with this? Can you please comment and make me feel better? I feel like I get on an island with my own, like my BJJ bitch assness. Shout out to Lloyd Irvin. Good human being he is. That I just feel like
non-controversial and everything, right?
You feel like you're on an island
for sure,
like
but
you're the only wussy that's dealing with this.
How those reality shows where they'd have people in the interacting with each other, and then they'd pull one person aside for a little candid interview. I think if you took every single person at the academy on any given day and we had little candid interviews, they would all say the same thing in different ways, man. Everyone has that, right? So we're all that's why it's so cool. That's why this whole thing is cool, because then you can drive home and you're like, I'm kind of a wuss.
Yeah.
Right. Think about all the black belts or just belts in general, Bill, that don't want to probably roll with you because you can't.
Yeah. How about that?
I don't even think that exists.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
That's real.
I know every time I slap hands with you, I'm in for thing.
That's because I carry a knife on me with you.
I'm just saying. But it's good though, and it's we should embrace that. And Andrew said, "Hate, I'm sure you hate me giving him all these props, but I do because he says this all the time. He goes, really seek out those roles.
Yeah,
and I think he's exactly right.
Yeah,
I think that was at our promotions. We
Sure
did it
was
last year, and then or the year before even that, and then yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, it's one of those things where it's not saying literally, because someone might take that as like, well, every single day I go, I need to roll with the hardest guys. It's not necessarily saying
no.
that. It's don't neglect them to where just like don't just only spar and neglect drilling, or don't never spar and only drill. Like you need to get all of that. Don't only roll with the people you can go and beat up, or the people that even you go toe to toe. Like you do got to get that ass whooping.
Mm-hmm. And I would say also that's helpful is you can go from like your kryptonite roll, and then also go roll with a white belt and be able to dynamically change very quickly from fight for your life to all of a sudden I want to do something where I'm giving them a little space and I'm working some new stuff, right? So some varied roles, not so you can go and dominate the white belt, but so that you can also say, okay, now I'm gonna pull this back some. I'm gonna work on some stuff I haven't worked before.
See, that's what Nikita's good for. Is like you roll with some of these tough guys and then you go find him.
He's tough, dude.
Like he's got like thick skin. He's tough.
No, I think he's doing quite well.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
You're just so
when he comes to class.
Oh,
he does
here we
quite
go.
Well.
Okay. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's all. I think what Andrew means is like you said, don't duck those.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how should you change your mindset? So I know you guys were kind of talking about that, but like, what do you literally?
So pretty much the first thing that comes to my mind
say to yourself
is
to change that.
I basically have to seek out the kryptonite rounds. Like, because I will always wait for them to ask me. Sometimes they don't get around to it. And I'm like, oh, hello. Or I'm like, I'll strategically go to the bathroom.
Dodging.
Yeah.
Avoid eye contact.
Like, okay, it's been, I escaped the first 5 rounds. He's gone, like, these couple guys have gone with all the black belts. I'm like, well, let me go to the bathroom. And then
You're so funny.
this guy wants to go. I can set up that.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who struggles with it.
Oh, we all do. That's what's so funny about it. And I think it's important to talk about that.
So,
yeah.
I think to get past it, it's the same with competition.
Yeah.
It's like, I really like like we've talked about it, I've become a mental midget when it comes to the lead up of competition. So I started competing more, right? Forcing myself, gym dropping, like going to other gyms and cross training. That kind of gives you the nerves and stuff. Cause I would like run a little bit from when a visitor would come. Which I still deal with the nerves, but I would tell myself, I want to roll with them. And then I would intentionally like hide.
Yeah, that's a little different though, because now if you know the person, that's one thing, or you know how they roll. Sometimes dropping in another gym, for me anyway, because my whole goal is not to get injured.
Yeah, see, I don't care.
Okay,
I
feel you.
I'm embracing the war part of it, and like, I'm okay with it, and I want it, but I will have a lot of nerves. I want to represent my gym, my professor, Andrew, like, blah, blah, blah. And then the nerves start hitting and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. So I started dropping into more gyms, like forcing myself. No, I gotta attack the feeling. So that's kind of my thought with this is like, I have to attack the feeling.
Same thing.
Like, don't wait for them to ask me, like just go and ask them.
Do you know how valuable, though? I mean, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but to have an academy where you do have those quality of people.
You don't really want to be the biggest fish.
No.
That's why we're talking about a few different people in our gym.
Oh, for sure.
There's one guy that's very consistent that we're talking about.
Yeah, but no, a few, for sure, a few.
But
more than a few.
Being that top big fish is like that's that could be tough.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
fortunately, we do have other people that give good rounds to
Oh,
them, so.
absolutely. But
I'm just not one of them.
well, I'm not either, but but that's good for you and I for both of our jiu-jitsu. And I think that's the take home message from that is, it is good for you.
So this actually kind of piggybacks on the greater topic we want to talk about, which was, what are some things that you've dealt with that has hindered your growth in jiu-jitsu, or some things that you just, maybe you didn't deal with, but people do that hinder their growth? I'll lead it and then I'll give you a second.
You got it.
I think something that can, and this is an easy one, a lot of people are going to be like, okay, yeah, I knew you were going to say that, is getting sucked in to all the techniques on social media and YouTube and tutorials and instructionals, and watching too much to where you don't actually focus on anything. So whether that's Instagram, YouTube, instructionals. I'll just say instructionals because that's an easy one. You'll watch, Olivia's guilty of this. She'll go on AOJ and then she'll watch 27 techniques.
Okay, I was watching all though of a similar technique, just different.
They were all
variations.
related. Let's say armbar or something, right? But still too vast. It's too vast. And then when you get to the class the next day, or that day maybe,
Most of it's gone.
you can't even remember a single thing.
That's right.
Shrinking jiu-jitsu down. That's such a stereotypical thing that we repeat so often, especially lead up to competition. Shrink jiu-jitsu down. That will be huge because you can just fall into this vast, that's something that Andrew didn't have coming up because he's a 4th degree black belt now. So he's started a long time ago when there was like nothing on the internet. Basically, it was a book. They had the Marcelo Garcia book.
Right.
We're inundated with all these techniques, and some are just completely silly.
You get option paralysis, right?
Yes. So that's one thing I see people fall into a lot.
Yep.
You got anything?
Yeah. Neglecting your body.
Is this something you've done or that
Both.
you see?
Well, both. Not so much anymore, but what I see all the time.
Don't look at me in the eyes when you say that.
No, you do pretty well. For instance, people have recurrent knee injuries, or I've looked at a couple people at the academy over the years, and they're like, or they're having problems with whatever, and they I go back to the hip mobility thing, right? Spending time, because what happened to me coming in as I did a lot of athletic stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Various type of
You're always
sports,
a healthy, in
lifting
shape,
weight. Yeah.
all that.
But I did what I liked. I didn't do what I needed. Okay.
Go on.
And so mobility, that we've talked about so many times on this podcast, jiu-jitsu is not, so most of my activities were in what we call the sagittal plane, that right in front of you. You're like jumping, riding a bike. We're in this one plane of movement, bench pressing, pulling. All of a sudden, I was in jiu-jitsu, and then all of a sudden my leg was way over here, and I'm trying to generate force, right? Or my spine is twisted a little bit, or whatever it may be. And then that's where my injury started happening right away. And it also affected my performance because I just didn't have that resilience in these different positions and strength to generate safe.
What's the difference between flexibility and mobility?
So flexibility, and this has been argued many times, but I think the most helpful definition for me is, if I had you laying down here on your back on the table and I bring your leg into the traditional hamstring stretch, but I did it. I moved you and see how far we can bend your leg. That's flexibility, right?
Okay.
Mobility typically is what you can do under your own power.
Okay.
Right? Can I move my leg? It's the very difference between doing, having someone stretch your leg up and then doing a Hicks and Gracie standing up and putting your leg up over your head.
Okay.
That's incredible mobility.
Gotcha.
And so being able to, what it is being able to generate force out of multiple angles and multiple positions. And most of the warm-ups we try to do are trying to hit the most common problems. And it's usually hips and shoulders. Hips and shoulders beat up knees and elbows and low backs and necks. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that most people, they're out there lifting and doing. And there's nothing wrong with doing powerlifting, bodybuilding exercises. Nothing at all.
Right.
I would argue you would be, if you're concerned about injury prevention and actually performance in jiu-jitsu, I would really rethink your program and start doing stuff that isn't as cool. Because guess what? It's really cool to watch your progress when you start deadlifting. Like, wow, look what I can do now.
And just hitting a big number.
And it's not that that's bad. I'm just saying you might have more, let's say, let's get into this open 90 position and then hover my leg up.
Yeah.
And everyone's cramping, right? So it just shows you should seek out your, the chinks in your armor physically too.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may not even know what it is, but if you're training in one plane all the time, you're going to it's only a matter of time for you're going to get hurt and your performance isn't going to be quite as good. So I think that's one thing that because then you get injured and there's nothing that hinders your progress more than a big injury. Now, small injuries you can work around. Some may even say that, hey, when I have an injury, it made me do something else that I wouldn't do anymore.
Sure.
But anyway, those are the biggest. That's one big thing for me.
Liv, do you know of any that you've done or
that
has hindered you that you caught yourself doing?
Well, definitely one thing that we've talked about that I've definitely worked on this year was like trying new like guards. So often we don't want to do that because we will lose.
Yeah.
And so we revert back to what works. And so instead of exploring these new positions in which maybe
because you shouldn't be getting past, Liv.
Yeah.
People shouldn't pass your guard.
Never. Especially if you know, like, okay, if I do this, like I have really good guard retention, but if I open myself up and try something new, suddenly I'm failing, and failure doesn't feel good.
Call it that white belt mentality.
Well,
gotta keep it.
But a lot of people, I think, limit themselves in their techniques and how well they could be, or exploring new areas because of that suckiness of like the first like several months where you're having to figure out the holes.
Well,
that
good
new
word,
guard.
suckiness.
it is suckiness, and I noticed Bill a couple years ago did the same thing with Worm Guard, and when you first started playing that, you were just getting
Depressing.
Well, yeah. I've been playing for the past 2 or 3 months Lasso, right? And I'm getting past less and less, and I'm getting some good stuff out of it. But when you start it,
There is a commitment.
dude, yeah, because then all of a sudden, not that I'm not saying a blue belt or what, but then you get lower belts just passing your guard, right? And you're like, well, damn it,
Yeah.
But that's where you're trying to stuff
It's a perfect
out.
example. As I showed, I taught Thursday or Saturday, and I showed this kind of Americana thing from north south.
Yeah.
And then I rolled with Mo, and Mo tried hitting on me 4 different times. The move that I just showed. I started because I didn't show the escape. Not that I was escaping, but I was like defending.
But you know the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the first time he just learned the move.
Right.
So, but he's implementing right away.
Yeah.
Or at least trying.
Yep.
That is so huge for people. Like a lot of the time you try something maybe once. Maybe you drilled it and then you don't even try it. You don't even focus on trying it. The move of the day or whatever.
Because you're like, when you're learning it, you're like, God, this feels awkward and whatever, right?
Send it.
Totally.
Just go for it.
I love it.
And he just kept spamming that dang thing.
Well, that's why he does what he does.
Yeah.
You know,
After the 4th time, though, I got Joke's on you. I teach stuff that doesn't work.
Is that what you said?
I did. As he's laying on my face.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious.
But
That's a good,
that's huge. And I totally agree that with Olivia on that is, and I know you do too, is that people will dip their toes in, new technique, fail, done. That doesn't work. It's not for me.
Not for me.
You know what? It's not for me. I don't got the mobility and flexibility to do it, or I don't got the whatever.
Yeah.
I got too short legs.
Yes.
Legs aren't long enough, or
Yes.
they're too long, or
body types. You know, I'm told that you want to have long legs for spider guard. Malarkey. Yes, a effective spider guard player that has long legs can be the most annoying thing in the world.
Sure.
For sure. I think my spider is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I ain't got long legs.
Well,
I'm a box troll.
some of the best spider players at our gym, one is a female black belt. And like Boots, he plays an excellent spider guard
He's a
game.
tiny feminine little guy.
Andrea's gonna be laughing this.
Oh, she can. Oh, this one.
No, but that to your point, right?
Yeah.
Then or someone says, "Oh, I have short legs, so triangle. I'm not gonna triangle people." It's like, well,
I was one of them. I literally would say that. I
But-
neglected triangle till late
dude,
purple.
that's one of your nastiest things right
Yeah.
now, right? And so, and when you have short legs and you like a triangle, hello,
Yeah, it's that double-edged thing. It's like it might be kind of difficult to get your initial latch,
yeah,
but once you do,
dude, yeah. So
you popping heads off.
that's right. And so that's a good point too. Not to have a preconceived notion,
Yeah.
like just because you're fumbling with something, like, oh, I'm just gonna dismiss it.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing, comparison game.
Yeah, the
I know
comparison
we've
game.
mentioned
we
this
talked
before.
That was that whole promotion thing too. It falls right into
Yeah.
that, right?
Yes, you're going to slow yourself. That's what I'm doing. I'm comparing myself with these black
You
belts
sure are.
that have been black belts for either 14 years or 8 years or 6 years or
You're
whatever. Take that out of it. Even if they got their black belt after me, it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'm comparing to someone else's like journey basically, and it's making it so I don't even want to roll with these people because it hurts my feelings
And it's hurting your progress.
and it hurts my progress.
So next time you're over there sulking in the corner, I'm gonna just kick you in the nuts.
I'm just gonna switch gyms.
Just say I'm just switching so I can feel better about myself.
I'm gonna go find a new gym that has like a purple
all white
belt
belts.
teaching.
So you can walk in there and
I'm the
decimate.
captain now.
I like it. I like it.
Then the purple belt beats the shit out
Yeah, I
of
was
me.
gonna say that.
Casey, what are you doing here?
You're like, damn it.
Son of a bitch.
Of all purple belts.
Yeah, I'll be driving to Bellingham in no time. Nothing against Bellingham, it's just far away.
That's funny.
So yeah, the comparison game, it can really be a cancer. And check out our promotion video. We go pretty in depth on that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've personally dealt with, obviously still deal with, but have dealt with for a long time.
And all very good points. It seems like I'm stuck on the health side of things here today.
It's kind of your bag.
I know. I also think overtraining can hurt your progress, even though you think you are doing better about, I'm going to hit 2 a days for 5 days.
And I assume when we say overtraining, a big
Under
part
recovery.
of that is under
Yeah,
recovery.
you call it under recovery, overtraining.
Yeah.
A lot of people say there's no such thing as overtraining. You're just not, it's how much whatever input you're going to give, you have to give the recovery time to get
That's the thing. Let's say
the
you're one of these
adaptations.
psychos, Musamechi or something like
Yeah.
that, or you're just someone that's going to try to do that regime
Yeah.
or regimen, which is a 10-hour of training in a day. You did 3 sessions, your total time with just mat time is going to be 6 hours, and then you might lift or something or do some sort of strength conditioning. Okay. You're putting in like an 8-hour training day. What does your recovery look like after that? Are you putting in 2-3 hours of legit recovery methods and stuff like that? Probably not.
No.
So that's why we can call it, because it's kind of like a hot button on the internet, right? You can't overtrain, or you can't blah, blah, blah.
Trust me, I've been in this field for a long time, and I've heard,
but that person,
I know,
that's going hard like that, that's like pro athlete level stuff. You got to put that, you are overtraining for the amount of recovery you can put in.
Correct.
Because you probably work another job too.
Well, see, and that's the thing, because, you look at, this person's doing this. What are their life circumstances?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Are you sleep, the whole stress cup thing. It's really important to look at that and like, well, I should be able to do this, this, and this. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe not right now.
Yeah. Let's say you're not a pro athlete that's doing these 4 sessions a day.
Yeah.
Maybe you're trying to do a 2 a day every couple days, or you're trying to train 5-6 days a week. Mm-hmm. Okay. You still got to put that recovery time in.
Not only do you have to recover, but it'd be really smart to periodize what you're doing, even week by week. It's like not every day should be the same, right?
What do you?
In other words, you shouldn't go. No, your inputs too.
Oh, okay.
You have to give the nervous system time to recover, to learn new motor skills. There's nothing worse than having a fatigued central nervous system coming into class where you feel kind of that lethargy, and then all of a sudden you're trying to download a new motor pattern that you're trying to learn a new technique.
Which is why we had the episode about those brutal 45-minute warm-ups.
Yep.
That they just get you exhausted, and then they're like, okay, we're going to learn how to do this.
It's so dumb. Because,
completely antiquated and ridiculous.
Well, it is, because it's just like, this is how tough we are. And like I said, if you want to put a beat down on your class, if that's the type of person you are, then do it at least smarter. Do it after, in the class with it, and not have these exhausted people trying to learn a new motor pattern. It just it's counterproductive, and that will absolutely slow your progress. Yep. And I was talking to one of our folks, one of our white belts who's doing really well, talking about, what should I be doing outside of jiu-jitsu? I'm like, I don't know. What should you be doing? How many times are you recovering well? Do you feel like are you sleeping well? Do you feel like you can tell when you're in a cortisol state and you're not, all of a sudden your sleep sucks. The mental fatigue. And we talked about some of the things the day when you wake up in the morning, some of the things you could do to kind of self-assess what you should do that day, maybe.
I was watching, there's a TV show called Hard Knocks. It's like a documentary. They document football teams, so they get like all access to
that's cool,
a pro football team. So right now it's in season, so the episode comes out like a week after they filmed, so it's like almost live.
Gotcha.
And they're following the Miami Dolphins right now, and they had a short week, and because they play on Thursday. Typically you play every Sunday, but they had a game on Sunday, and then they have to play on Thursday. So recovery really comes because those guys are going through a war with their body. And I thought it was pretty cool and interesting to see their coach. He got them all together and he said, guys, if there's one thing that we need to focus on, because it's a short week, is your sleep.
Yep.
Everyone, make it the number one priority is get your sleep in check. Even if you put an emphasis on that, put more of an emphasis on that. And that's, you're seeing that at like a professional athlete level, but that's the stuff that we can actually glean.
Absolutely.
And implement, even though we're not going to go to essentially a competition in the next 4 days.
That's such a good point. So you look at, and we talk about what an athlete is, whatever. Those are professional athletes. You're looking at a coach with good knowledge and leadership and looking out for, because he wants them to perform.
Yeah.
Right. Jiu-jitsu folks in general, by nature, anybody that's stuck with it for long enough are a different type of person than your average person on the street. They're willing to put themselves through this, right? And they like it.
Yeah.
Those type of people oftentimes need some of that direction too. Like, hey, you need to back this down a little bit. Here's some things you need to do for to recover, or your performance is actually going to, because they think by putting more time in, that's going to equate to better progress and better performance. It can be the opposite. And so that's a very, very, very important point.
And even from a different perspective, there's a group, it's called GBRS group, ex-Navy SEALs. And they have like gear that they sell, but they also do like they have a good YouTube channel for whether it's shooting or tactics, fitness levels. These guys are all just yoked up.
Of course.
High performing people.
Yep.
And one thing that they're preaching heavy is sleep and 20-minute recovery walks.
Yep.
Big on these 20 minutes for mental clarity, body, like, and emphasizing on how important that's something that you would think is for, like, when you look at these guys, they're just super in shape. And you're like, these guys don't do anything except at 100%. No.
Nope.
20-minute recovery walks are a mandate for them. And then taking care of their sleep and stuff like that.
That's a great point. One of the best things I do for my recovery is we got one of those assault air runners. I have it right next to my TV downstairs. Yeah. And on my non-train, like tonight, I'm just going to get on it and do a nice, I hate to use the zone 2. So Olivia's not even paying attention to me.
What?
Yes. The zone 2 cardio type of thing. Yeah. In other words, keep it at conversational pace. Yeah. And that is super helpful for recovery. Because I'm feeling a little beat up. I had a lot of hard rounds on Saturday. Yeah. And guess what? It's not an excuse. It's the fact of life. Middle 50s does not equal middle 30s as far as recovery. I'm just sorry. It just doesn't. Yeah. Now it's different. Depending on your background and all that. But in general, my 34-year-old self recovered like Wolverine compared to my 54-year-old self.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So keep in mind.
Did you have any others, Liv, that you?
Well, I mean, this kind of goes into the other one that I said, and Chris has brought this up a lot of times, but avoiding weak positions, meaning if you feel confident in playing guard, you always pull guard.
Yeah.
And you never, so you're going into every sparring round, you're pulling. That's probably not like a good thing. Or if you're going to every sparring round and you're always starting on top, because you're more comfortable passing.
Yeah.
That's not, you're hurting
your development.
Yeah.
I see this. That's a great point again we should very quickly kind of revisit that. You see a lot of the athletic, and this is a stereotype, but the athletic white belt male that comes in, maybe a former wrestler, will play that top game to their detriment, and all of a sudden they're a blue belt and they have no guard.
Yeah.
And
we've seen a couple cases, at least in our personal gym, that a lot of people obviously won't know who these guys are, but we've had a couple college wrestlers come in that they did that at first, but then they had the mindset and they stuck with it to swap and pull guard, literally sit down and work from there. Alan.
Oh yeah.
And Casey.
And you look at those guys now, they are so dangerous now. They
could roll to any black belt in the state and they're going to give a hard roll.
Exactly. Yeah. And because they did that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Totally agree. I think another thing is not putting yourself in work deep defense. What I mean is you are in an armbar.
Oh yeah.
You are in not just they have your back, but they have a grip on the lapel or the choking arm is across your chin or something like that. Work late stage defense. This will, we neglect it because we're going to tap. You're going to get caught. You're putting yourself in a late stage. You're at a huge disadvantage. And do it with different levels of people on you. If you got your brown belt buddy on your back, you're probably going to tap a lot more than when you start with the white and blue belt.
For sure.
But start with all of them. especially the lower belts.
I love that.
And the thing is, a lot of the time, people neglect doing it with the lower belts, and they'll do it with the upper belts because they think that the blue belt, when you're a purple belt, if you put yourself there, well, now the blue belt's going to think he tapped me. Well, he did tap you, but
who cares?
Yes. And the thing is, like, work those late stage defenses, because once you become confident in your late stage defense, you can open up your offense with confidence. Because if you screwed up your offense and they defended it, and now you're in a bad spot. I've been here. I'm comfortable here.
You know who's an interesting case study in this? And I probably shouldn't because I'm married to her, but she's actually developed a game from bad positions where she will really good at it. It's hard to finish in her.
Yeah.
And she's very comfortable in that. And now she even has some submissions from these horrible positions. You know?
But I mean, you start to develop technique in these positions.
Yeah, it is so valuable.
Whether it's offensive like she's doing or even defensive.
Stop and forget.
But you have answers. You've been there, right? Like going back to the wrestlers. Guys, if you're going against another, like let's say you're a blue belt or a purple belt wrestler and you're struggling, especially in the gi, to out wrestle a black belt because they're good with grip structure and gripping sequences. So you end up hating the gi because, well, dang it, I can't get past the freaking grips. If you sat down, they have to engage you. They have to step into you. The whole time when you're wrestling, all you want to do is get a hold of their dang legs and hips.
Right.
If you sit down, they have to give you a leg.
And looking at wrestling up and stuff like that.
Gosh.
Yeah, totally, right?
I mean, it's Nicky Rod's MO.
Totally.
That's why he sits down or goes to a knee. So you have to engage instead of trying to get past the hands and stuff like that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great point.
You know, so you're putting yourself, especially in a wrestler's eyes, at a disadvantage by sitting.
Yeah.
Work that. If you're not a wrestler and it's other scenario, work your late stage defense. It will end up paying dividends in the end to where you are a pain in the ass to submit and you can feel confident in shooting, just throwing subs out there and sweeps because like a Gary Tonin type of thing.
Absolutely. That's who I was just about to think about.
Offensive machine.
But his defense is incredible.
Yes. Very hard to catch.
I mean, his escapes, you know. So exactly. That's a great person to reference for that.
Yeah.
I couldn't get Bill in an armbar today.
You couldn't?
No, maybe I got you in one, but the other one at the end, because he kept like moving his arm back and forth. Like that's the kind of crap.
I've been practicing. So myself, this is what I'm doing right now. Is I'm practicing the reverse hitchhiker escape, which is a little unique, a little different. But I was inspired because J-Rod did it against Mika Gaval, which is like maybe the best armbar in the game.
We did it 4 times in a row.
Right. And then he also did it at ADCC trials against someone, I can't remember, another high level person. And I was like, and then Nicky Rod did it against Big Dan. And I was like, okay, I got to freaking try this.
That's awesome.
And I've been working it. Get caught sometimes, but I get out sometimes. And I'm just going to keep doing it.
One of the things, and we'll finish, I know we're running long here, but on that same point, recently I've been rolling with some of our, blue belts and white belts. When they do a real good job of defense and really focusing on that,
you turn it up on them?
No. I make it sure to tell them that after the roll because that's a lot of people think, oh, I didn't do well in that roll.
Yeah.
But the ones that are really paying attention to their defense and they're really trying to recover guard and they're not.
It's hard to take a compliment when you feel like you got crushed.
But it's important to emphasize how important that is and what a good job they did on that because that's going to pay them dividends later on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally. And for the upper belts, like encourage them. Like don't just be like, hey man, good defense and walk away. Like try to give them something tangible. Yeah. Like do your hand positioning.
I like what you did with this.
Yeah.
Yep.
That grip. was great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Purple
That grip-
belts need encouragement still too.
Yes, including purple belts.
But they're not people, though. We've talked about this before. Purple belts aren't really
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
So when I'm a brown belt, then I will be people.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll be back into personhood.
You turn into you people. So upper belts, like, encourage those people with something tangible,
Yep.
so they don't think that it's just
You're just telling them blowing smoke.
you're strong, dude. Good job.
Yeah, exactly.
The normal thing that we'll give them.
Yeah, and I always try to give them something. Hey, when you did this, that was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm sure we could go on a long time with a lot of these.
we could. We are going to post
Shoulder
the
exercise.
shoulder exercises. We videoed 2 of them. We'll put those up. I'm gonna do a whole series.
One's going to be at midweek this week. So
Yep, and we'll keep posting those because I have at least 2 more exercises after those 2.
yeah, and they're quick videos,
Yep.
like probably
Couple
2 minutes or something.
maybe.
Yeah, so it's not like super in depth, but you should be able to perform the movements once you watch the video.
And this is one of the things we were talking about earlier. If you want to do something that's not going to hurt your progress, working on your body and stuff, those shoulder stability things are really important.
Really, really big.
Yep.
That's it, y'all.
Cool.
Throw us a comment. Peace out.
Peace.